In pre-Islamic Arabia, women did not enjoy a very high position. See, often, in order to show that Islam made a great improvement in this or that area, an attempt is made by people to diminish what already existed so that the gap between pre-Islam and Islam can be widened. And this, I think, is a trap we have to try not to fall into. It's done frequently enough in other cultures also. Before this culture arrived, what existed was primitive, not worth the name of civilization. And culture, civilization begins at this point. As far as Arabia is concerned, however, there is sufficient evidence, sufficient independent, objective evidence to show that women did not enjoy a position of prestige. And I'll give you a few pieces of evidence to that effect also. In a few cities, there were a few prominent women who sometimes were influential in local affairs, sometimes owned property also. For example, Muhammad's first wife, Khadija, was a businesswoman, and she employed Muhammad for some time, and it was she who proposed marriage to him, as you know already. As a rule, however, one can say that women were a non-entity and a commodity rather than a person. There were several types of marriage in pre-Islamic Arabia. We can first, there was temporary marriage, in which a contract was made for a fixed period of time, and there was no lower or upper limit. That is, it could be for a few hours, it could be for a few months, or a few years. This was known as the mut'ah marriage. I'll write the Arabic words. Mut'ah marriage. And the Quran prohibited this and said, now on, no more mut'ah marriages. Incidentally, this is one of the issues on which the Sunnis or Sunnites and Shiites disagree. The Shiites believe that the institution of the mut'ah marriage, which comes from pre-Islam, was not forbidden by Islam, so they hold on to it, and this is one of the distinguishing things.
Do you know by any chance which chapter the Sunnis point to and say the Quran prohibits it right now?
Yes, it's chapter 5. Chapter 5? Yes. Surah. I'll give you the reference. Yeah. Okay. By the 7th century, however, this marriage was becoming more rare, although it still existed by the time of the Prophet and the Quran. The second type of marriage was more permanent. It occurred in two ways. Women were captured in wars and men married them, or men literally purchased women from other families for a price, which gives us the expression bride price. You might have encountered that in your studies of Islam. This actually is a misnomer within the context of Islam because brides are not purchased and no money is given for this purpose or received. In pre-Islam, this price was given not to the woman, of course, because she was the commodity bought or purchased, but to the family of the woman, more specifically to the father of the woman. A woman's consent was not necessary, and as long as males agreed, the bridegroom and the woman's father, marriage could take place. As far as a divorce is concerned, women did not have the right to end a marriage. And customary law, I'll write the word here. The Arabic word is urf. Urf literally means that which is well known, that is sufficiently well known to have attained the status of a law. It was not written down because the Arabs were not literate people, but the force of tradition bestowed on it the force of law. So by urf, then, a divorced woman did not receive any compensation, and her previous husband could even prevent her from remarrying because he felt that if he had divorced a woman, no one else had the right to marry her. That would be shame or dishonor to him. Another type of marriage, it's mentioned in the in Quran chapter 4 verse 22. There's only an Arabic word for it. It's called Zawaj al Maqt. Sorry. Maqt means, it's Maqt marriage, M-A-Q-T. The word means hateful, and it was given this name because even Arabs recognized that this was a hateful, abominable thing. If a man had several wives, then his son, upon the death of his father, could marry any one of those except his own real mother. In other words, people could marry their stepmothers. But the fact that even the Arabs called it maqt, abominable thing, indicates that this was not a popular form of marriage, but it was practiced sufficiently so that the Quran had to comment on it and prohibit it explicitly.